So we've had 3 YCSs in the matter of 10 days, and because of that, the market is doing a lot of stuff. Hey guys, Otaku here, back with another Market Watch, and today we're going to be looking at all of the movements that have been going on in just the span of like a week. There were a couple cards in the last Market Watch that I forgot to talk about, and so we're going to be talking about them today. But we've had like a bunch of support revealed. We've had Magnet War, we've had Dark Lord support, we have more movements in Genesys because the format is starting to, people are starting to figure some things out. I'm not going to say it's solved by any means, but people are starting to figure some things out. But furthermore, we've had 3 YCSs between Lille, Lima, and Anaheim, and because of that, decks are becoming a little more expensive. Things are moving, to say the least. Before we do jump into the Market Watch, though, I have noticed that a great deal of you that are watching my video right now are not currently subscribed to the channel. So if you like competitive-based content, in-depth guides, and more, consider subscribing to the channel. But also, don't forget to leave a like on this video and comment down below what cards I should look at the next Market Watch. And of course, it's not required, but it is greatly appreciated. So if you would like to further support the channel, consider joining my community Discord, following me over on Twitch, and using my TCG affiliate link. But if you would like to save 15% off while also upgrading your deck box, your playmat, or your card sleeves, consider using my Dueling Guard affiliate link. All links will be in the description down below. First card I want to look at is Condemned Witch. So we had more Dark Lord support revealed, but the card in question that is making this skyrocket in price is Forbidden Crown. For those who have been living under a rock, the most broken card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just got revealed, and I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but this card is the nuts. So let me go ahead and just read you the most recent reveal for Forbidden Crown. It is a quick play spell, just like all the Forbidden cards. You can only activate one card with this card's name once per turn. Neither player can activate monster effects in response to this card, and it is apply all of these effects to one face-up monster on the field until the end of this turn. Its effects are negated, it cannot attack, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect, is unaffected by other cards' activated effects except its own. It cannot be tributed, and it cannot be used as material for a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link summon. Pretty much what it is it's just freezing a monster. It is saying that no matter what, this card is not leaving the board. It cannot be kaiju'd because it can't be tributed, it can't be destroyed by battle or card effect, it can't be linked, Xyz, Synchroed, or any of that away. It is just sitting on the board, and it's not leaving until the end of the turn. This card is cracked, and because it is a forbidden card, it is searchable by Condemned Witch. And Condemned Witch has 3 rarities, 2 of which are commons. I consider rares commons, and they're not worth much, but it does have a secret rare printing from its original printing, Soul Fusion, and that card is looking a little better. This card was about $15-ish for about a day because it got completely bought out, but 28 listings, it has not populated a whole lot more. This card's sitting at about $5-ish. Like, it's very, very bouncy, like up and down. You can't really tell, but I mean, the $10 mark is getting pretty close. That being said, Condemned Witch always goes up in price when new Forbidden cards are revealed. I remember when Forbidden Droplet was revealed, Condemned Witch actually jumped up in price a little bit. So this is always a card that like people are coping about. But at the same time, Dark Lord support was revealed, and I don't know much about Dark Lord, but this might be able to be played. It is a Dark Fairy, so just something to keep your eye out for. But at the same time, it has a rare, it has a common, so if you're not fretting about rarity, then you have options. Let's talk a little bit about Genesys, and we'll actually be talking quite a bit about Genesys in this video, but further towards the back, Despian Luluwa Lilith has been seeing some buyouts, to say the least. The Cyberstorm Access Secret Rare is at 17 listings and about $18-ish close, and the Prismatic Secret Rare from the tins is $18, but also a little more populated with 33 listings. I'm not completely certain what deck is playing this in the Genesys format, but I know there are some decks that are playing it in Genesys format. I believe there are Branded brews because Branded got fucking neutered on the Genesys list, so they have to improvise on what they're able to play and what they're going to play. So I believe Despina Luluwa is one of those cards, but I believe she's also seeing further play in other lists in Genesys. Still talking about Genesys, though, Iron Thunder. Iron Thunder is a 0-point card, and it is essentially a Solemn at home. The card is both secret rares in the Megatins and from Phantom Nightmare. It's sitting about $10 a copy, but as you can see, it is getting bought up. 18 listings from the tins, 17 listings from Phantom Nightmare. And like I said, it is kind of like a solemn judgment at home. When a spell trap card or monster effect is activated on the field, pay half your life points, negate the activation, and if you do destroy that card, then destroy any other card in the same column the destroyed card was in that are in the monster zones or spell and trap zones. So it's basically like solemn judgment with strike and imperm included, basically, because it has column effects, it has spell trap negate, it has monster effect negate. The only thing it's not negating is a summon. But again, this is a 0-point card, and it is really freaking good. So we are seeing some slight increases in price due to that. Both prices are about $10 to almost $15. Like I said, it is getting bought up, so the cheaper listings are dwindling. You don't want to be the guy buying this card for 20 bucks. You don't want to be that guy. So if you're looking to play Genesys format and you're looking to have a more control style deck, then you might want to pick this up now. This is probably a very good side deck card for that format. Still on the topic of Genesys, but also advanced, kinda. This is kind of going to be our bridgeway into the advanced format cards. But 7 Tachyon is back on the rise. It is seeing a little bit of a drop, a small inkling of a drop, but Ryzeal Onomat did really good at YCS Anaheim, and because that 7 Tachyon is seeing slight price increase. But also Genesys format, there are people who are fucking around with this card because if they don't need to make anything other than Xyz monsters, then this is just a free search for almost any deck possible because, oh no, I'm locked into Xyz monsters. Darn, it's not like I can make a Link monster. So 7 Tachyon is seeing some play because of that in Genesys format, just as like a free searcher for like almost anything in their decks. And yeah, it's about $30 a listing. This card never really super dropped. I think it got down to about 20 bucks a copy, give or take, but it is on the rise again because Genesys, and again, the Ryzeal Onomat and like Xyz focused decks have seen a little bit more success as of recent. So 7 Tachyon, this is just a good card to have. So if you didn't pick it up while it was cheaper, you really lost. Talking about Ryzeal Onomat though, do warrior, a lot of does there. I mean, he's still like fairly cheap, but he is seeing a bit of an increase. He was looking at about $1 a copy for a minute there, and because of the recent success of Ryzeal Onomat, he's looking at about $5-ish a copy, which isn't bad still, but I mean, he's inflated because of his success. Also, as far as I'm aware of, this was the only like high rarity minus the Xyz Utopia monster card for the Onomat cards in Duelist Advance, so the rest are fairly cheap. This is probably going to be the one you're paying the most for, but this plus like 7 Tachyon, it's going to be a pricey little tab. Noroi from Doom of Dimensions. We talked about Noroi last week, I believe, or in the last Market Watch, but yeah, that has been a hell of a spike. Buyouts all across the board. 8 listings left on Noroi. $30 a copy, almost $80 if we get down here. This is very quickly becoming an expensive card. Everyone, when Vanquish Soul K9 got butchered and Christian K9 saw a slap on the wrist, everyone thought the K9 brews were kind of dead. And because that Noroi did suffer, he was looking at about like $15 to $17 a copy. But the most recent win from YCS Anaheim from Jamal, I believe, or Kamal, with Christian K9 proved everybody wrong, that Christian K9 or K9 brews in general are still very viable. Noroi being, in my opinion, the best one because he just looks at the opponent's hand. Like this last little sentence, look at your opponent's hand. Just take a little peek. Just have a little look-see-do. What do they got? What's going on there? That's the most broken effect ever. And people could be like, oh, well, there's cards that rip cards from hand, but not all of them give hand knowledge. This gives hand knowledge, which in my opinion is way more valuable than a hand rip. So yeah, if you didn't pick up your Norois before, you're hurting now because this is about $30 a copy and it's pretty much nowhere to be found at the moment. Still talking about Crystron K9 right now. Artifact Dagda also getting bought out. 15 listings left on this card and $25-ish, give or take. This card has one printing still. Artifact Dagda has not been reprinted since Duelist Overload, so it's been a minute. I bought this card for $1 when a Baoku came out because there was some shenanigans with a Baoku, or like activate Dagda to set the Lancia and then make a Baoku with like a Fiendsmith card and Dagda to make her and then use her effect to pop the Lancia so you could like block out the Malice deck. But that never really took off, but since then I've had an Artifact Dagda in my bulk, and yeah, you best be damned I'm about to sell this card. As for the reason why this card is getting bought out and spiking, it saw play in Kamal's list at YCS Anaheim. He was playing Artifact Dagda to set the Artifact Mjolnir, and then he would get the Mjolnir to the opponent's board off of Kukuri, I think is what the Xyz monster's name is, to be able to make it so that your opponent cannot special summon anything other than artifacts for 2 turns. Very unfair card. But yeah, Artifact Dagda is the sole proprietor of that strategy right now, and because of that, people are scooping him up wherever they can find him, and there are no cheap listings left on this card. This card is really pricey right now because one listing and nowhere can be found. I talked about this in the most recent Yummy Mitsurugi build that I just showed off here on the channel earlier this week, but Super Polymerization. This card, if you can fit it in your deck, is mandatory right now. Basically, no listing you see here is under $5, and this card has a lot of printings, as you can see here. There are a lot of printings that are commons, even like the Speed Duel commons is basically going to be $5 after shipping. Like, nothing here is under $5, except maybe the Cyber Dragon Revolution structure deck, $3-ish, but I bet you if I click on that, it's going to be actually more than that. Same with the Shadal structure deck. Again, this card has commons and pretty much not that much cheaper than $5. Like, this card is gaining a lot of popularity in the current format. If you look at all the YCS Anaheim topping lists, almost every list is playing Super Poly because it is so it's a powerhouse in the format. It hurts Yummy, it hurts Mitsurugi, it can hurt Crystron, it can hurt so many decks in the current format. And when Yummy and Mitsurugi, or the hybrid of the both of those decks, are the decks to beat in the format, Super Poly is a need. Like, it is a must. Like, yes, they have ways to bring back the resources off of like Ritual, or sorry, off of Prayers and off of Surprise, but you make them expend those resources and you eat their board in the process. For those who have been sitting on the channel for a minute now, I've been pushing Super Poly since the beginning of Justice Hunter format. My buddy got me on Super Poly, and I have seen the light. I saw that this format was going in a direction that Super Poly was heavily needed because my buddy was putting me on the right track. And yeah, if you didn't listen, you didn't listen. This card is getting up there in price again. Now, there are plenty of listings on TCG Player, so just pick whichever one you want. If we're looking at high rarities, you know, we have the QCR sitting at almost $200. We have the Starlight surprisingly cheaper for whatever reason. The Platinum Secret, $12. The Ulti sitting at about $70. The Ulti is my personal preference, but, you know, to each their own. Let's talk a little bit about penny stonks, shall we? So Poissonnier de Nouvelle is a super rare from Age of Overlord, so Agov. This card was pretty much pennies, literal pennies, before Triff brought out the Yummy Mitsurugi Nouvelle list, and now it's 50 cents a copy. Still cheap, don't get me wrong, still cheap, but if you have like a bajillion of these in your bulk, you can benefit from this, because like I said, before the most recent Triff list, this card, let's see, Agov's been out for about a year now. This card has seen like jumps up and down, and it got a little bit of love when the Nouvelle support was revealed for the most recent Duelist Advanced set, but it just recently hit about 50 cents a copy, so you can kind of plus off this if you just try and sell as many of this out of your bulk as possible. Like, if you have like 20 of these, you know, you can get $10. Still on the topic though of Triff's YCS lists from YCS Lima and YCS Anaheim, Diviner of the Herald is seeing a massive spike in price again because of major buyouts. It has 3 printings, and it's about almost $10 a copy, depending on which one you grab. Its original printing from Lightning Overdrive has 17 listings, about $8 a copy. The Prismatic from the Tins is about $10 a copy. And the Ultra Rare from the Battles of Legend, 2 listings. There's only 2 listings left of this card, and it's almost $8 for each copy. Diviner is a card that I've always made a habit of having in my collection. I made the horrible mistake of selling my last playset back during its last high, and then I never got a playset during its most recent low. And I did pick this up at $5 a copy, thank God, but it's up to $10 a copy right now. This is just one of those cards, like being able to send like Herald or Intis to your graveyard, or just any fairy. This card has so much good application for future formats. This is just a good card to have in your collection at like all times, because you never know when it's going to come up. This card was really good in Voiceless Voice. This card is really good in Yummy Mitsurugi. Just like any deck that can play rituals, instantly you're looking at this card. But furthermore, it's a good board breaker. It's a tuner that can level modulate itself. Like, this is a just good card to have. And if you don't have it, you're minusing. If you have access to this, which after this market watch, the next time that Diviner goes down to a low, I'm buying the fuck out of this card because, again, this is just a good card. It's going to always go up in price sooner or later. Speaking of ritual cards, though, let's look at Mitsurugi, the deck that some reason was not even looked at on the Forbidden Limit list. Like, they didn't even consider this deck. Habakiri's almost $3 a copy. This is a super rare. $3 a copy. That's insane for a super rare, which, I mean, not crazy insane. We've seen Magnuma and Druisworm for the longest time was at like $15 for a super rare, so not super crazy, but $3 a copy for Habakiri, about $11 to $12 a copy for Murakumo. Ritual is almost back up to $40. These cards were getting low because they weren't seeing super major popularity, but all of a sudden they weren't hit on the Forbidden Limit list, and they are one of the best decks, if not the best deck in the format with the Yummy cards combined. That being said, though, I feel like most of us have our Mitsurugi cards at this point because they got pretty low in prices. Like Murakumo got back down to like, I think, $4 or $5 a copy, and you really only need one if you're playing the engine. Habakiri for the longest time was like 50 cents, so that wasn't a big deal. Ritual got as low as, I think, $20 to $25, and again, you really only need one of them if you're playing an engine. So I feel like at this point, most of us have our Mitsurugi cards, so now it's just a matter of whenever they hit it. Let's talk about Dark Spirits Mastery. So I do know that in Genesys, this is seeing a little bit of play, but it did see some play recently in advanced format because people are using this to search Lava Golem, essentially. Now, it does have 3 printings, so, you know, you don't have to buy the ultra rare for $12. You can buy the commons for 50 cents a piece, but I don't know. It's interesting. I like it, but it is also a normal spell, so you can search it off of, like, Thrust if you're playing advanced format or you're playing a low point deck in Genesys, so it's interesting. I like the tech, but again, you do have price options. Still on like the teetering of advanced and Genesys format, Drak Astero has just seen a massive spike in price. This card was like $1 a week ago, and it's bridging on almost $5 now because Dinkabui just recently took Fire King Drak to YCS Lil or Lima. I don't remember which YCS. And he, I believe, got top 64 because, like, I think he still got the prize card. Like, he still did good with this deck, but Fire King Drak is no joke. And it's also a very viable deck in Genesys. I've been playing it in Genesys. This is a really fun deck to play because the Drak cards cost nothing. The Fire King cards, I believe, cost, like, all 100 points. But, like, that's fine because this deck can play both first and second. Thanks to Kieran, you can play turn 0 as long as you open obviously the right set of cards, but being able to turn 0 your opponent a Drak Meteor is crazy. Like, if you open Kieran plus Megalo, you can go Kieran, pop the Megalo, send the Astero, and then at the end of your opponent's turn, just go Astero, banish himself, and the Megalo rock, and then you win the game from there. Like, it's such a cool deck. And like I said, it's been a matter of a week. Like, I picked up 3 copies of these cards from my buddy for essentially free because they were only like 30 cents a copy, and he's just like, just have them. This card's $5 now. This card is $5. I went from paying nothing to possibly paying 15. Like, this is crazy. And still on the topic of the Fire King Drak deck, Volcanics has 2 printings, Ultra Rare and Secret Rare, slight buyouts, like we're down to under 30 listings. We have $8 for the Ultra Rare and $12 for the Secret Rare. Easily one of the more important cards because, again, it can pop any fire in hand or field. So you normal summon it, pop Megalo, send Astero, and then in the process, you search Garunix. Just overall, like, really good deck. And if you are looking to play Genesys format, I could not recommend any more to play the Fire King Drak version. Is such a fun deck. And then the last talk about Genesys format, I tried to tell you all in the last Market Watch, pick up Radiant Typhoon. This is a deck that, yes, isn't doing a whole lot in the advanced format, But sure enough, it's one of the best decks in the Genesys format. Even though Runic can't summon from the EMZ, or can't summon to the EMZ, Runic Radiant Typhoon is one of the best decks in the Genesys format right now. It is seeing a lot of play because they're just using the Runic cards to not only mill your opponent's deck, but also just control the game state. And because they're all quick plays, they all play well with Radiant Typhoon Mandate. They all play well with the just overall Radiant Typhoon cards. Any one of those cards is a discard off of Radiant Typhoon Vision. And like, oh, you can't summon Huggin, so you can't search out the Fountain. Well, Radiant Typhoon Vision and Tip, cards that you're both going to be playing at 3, will have ways to find it. Vision can obviously draw you 2 cards, which can dig deeper into the deck to hopefully find it. But then on top of that, if you just draw Tip, then Tip can search Fountain. So like you have options. So overall, if you didn't pick these cards up, man, you probably are wishing you did now, because Crocea, I believe when we last looked at it, was like $7. It's doubled in price since the last market watch. Swen is up to almost $6 on its own. And the only like high rarity one that didn't really go up in price is Phonics, and I believe this is a one of, and that's probably why it didn't go up in price. But these two heavily getting bought out. Oh, sorry, and Chant is also almost $6-7 now. So overall, and I mean, like the Starlights are all pretty affordable. Like Swen, $30. The Phonics is $14. The Chant is $32. So honestly, like if you're gonna, and also might I mention, if you're gonna buy Crocea, you might as well just buy the Starlight Rare. First off, only 5 listings left, but one Starlight Rare is just 2 secret rares. You might as well like just dig a little deeper and just have a pretty card. But again, if you didn't take my advice and pick up this deck when I told you to, it might be too late now. As you can see here, it is starting to see some buyouts. And that is going to be it for today's Market Watch. It's been a lot of movement between Triff's wins and Kamal's wins and just the YCSs in general, like Dinkabui taking Fire King Jirak. Genesys is starting to be a little more figured out. Just overall, just a lot of stuff going on in the market right now. Not to mention just the support that's coming out of the OCG. We just recently, and I haven't made a video on this, we recently just had more Justice Hunter decks get more support. Their third wave of support just got revealed. And so just a lot going on in the market right now. But I'm, of course, curious to hear what you all think. So make sure you leave a comment down below on what cards I should cover in next week's Market Watch. And also don't forget to leave a like on this video. And if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. But with that, I'll see you all in the next video. See ya.